Hello class. Today we will be discussing about magnetically coupled circuits, and before we proceed with the concept and calculation, let us first familiarize ourselves with the people who gave some significant contribution related with magnetically coupled circuits. So first we have Hans Christian Ørsted. So this is Hans Christian Ørsted. So in 1820, he showed that a current produces a magnetic field. Second, we have André Marie Ampère, and I'm sure you know him very well. So he's a French mathematics professor who only a week after learning of Ørsted's discoveries in September 1820 demonstrated that parallel wires carrying currents attract and repel each other. So as you can see in this figure, we have here parallel wires carrying current and they are in the same direction. So in this case, they attract each other. Whereas on the second image, we have two parallel wires and opposite direction. So in this case, they repel each other. So a moving charge of 1 coulomb per second is a current of 1 ampere. Third, we have Michael Faraday. So he is a self-taught English chemist and physicist who discovered electromagnetic induction in 1831, by which a changing magnetic field induces an electric field. So we know that a capacitance of 1 coulomb per volt is called a farad. Next, we have Joseph Henry. So he is an American scientist, Princeton University professor, and first secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. He built the largest electromagnets of his day, and he was the one who discovered the self-induction. That's why the unit of inductance, L, is the Henry. Now let's proceed with mutual inductance. So we have two terms here. When we say conductively coupled, it is when one loop affects the neighboring loop through current conduction. Okay? So when one loop affects the neighboring loop through current conduction, that means they are conductively coupled. Whereas in magnetically coupled, we have two loops with or without contacts between them, and they are affecting each other through the magnetic field generated by one of them. Faraday's law. So according to Faraday's law, the voltage induced in the coil is proportional to the number of turns and the time rate of change of the magnetic flux. So mathematically, we have this following expression. V1 of t is equal to the change of lambda 1 with respect to time t is equal to n1, wherein n is the number of turns, and then we have the change in flux or phi with respect to time t. And then we also have the Lenz's law. So sign of induced voltage V1 is such that the current I through an external resistor would be opposite to the current I1 that produces the flux V1. So Faraday's law um, is responsible for the magnitude, wherein the Lenz's law is responsible for the direction of the current of the induced voltage. So that's the difference between the Faraday's and the Lenz's law. So symbol L of inductance is from Lenz. So yung unit natin doon, Henry is from Joseph Henry, and then yung symbol na L is from Lenz. Now let's define the mutual inductance. So when two inductors or coils are in a close proximity to each other, magnetic flux caused by current in one coil links with the other coil, thereby inducing voltage in the latter. Now we have here that convention. We have here the coil 1 and then the coil 2. So if a current say I1 enters the dotted terminal, so this dotted terminal of one coil, the reference polarity of the mutual voltage in the second coil is positive at the dotted terminal of the second coil. And if a current leaves the dotted terminal of one coil, the reference polarity of the mutual voltage in the second coil is negative at the dotted terminal of the second coil. So let's say we have here in the letter A, I1 is entering this dotted terminal. So V2 is equal to M times dI1 dt. And then we have here I1, then dotted terminal is here. So V2 is equal to negative M dI1 dt. So for this case, we have L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus 2M. This is series aiding connection. And then in the second figure, we have L is equal to L1 plus L2 minus 2M. This is series opposing connection. Now, for us to understand dot convention, let us solve this sample problem. Solve for I1 and I2. So we have here J5 ohm and I1 J6, then I2, and then the mutual inductance which is J3. Okay, so according to dot convention, if a current enters the dotted terminal, so in this case we have the I1 and it enters this dotted terminal here, the reference polarity of the mutual voltage in the second coil is positive at the dotted terminal of the second coil. So we have here the mutual voltage, the J3. This is the mutual voltage. So for us to analyze this circuit easily, let us draw a dummy voltage source here. Also on this part. And then we will assign the polarity. So I1 is entering this dotted terminal. So the reference polarity of the mutual voltage. So let us write first the J3 in both dummy voltage source, and then let's assign the polarity. So current entering this dotted terminal, the polarity of this mutual voltage in the second coil is positive at the dotted terminal of the second coil. So the dotted terminal of the second coil is here, so above. So let us put the positive polarity also above this dummy voltage source. So this is positive, this is negative. Now considering I2, so si I2 will enter this coil and then will leave this dotted terminal here. So according to dot convention, if a current leaves the dotted terminal of one coil, the reference polarity of the mutual voltage in the second coil is negative. So since I2 leaves this dotted terminal, the reference polarity of this mutual voltage on this part is negative. So the dotted terminal on the first coil is above, so this will be negative, and then on this part we have positive. So this will be I2 times J3, and then this will be J3 times I1. So let us trace the equation. So at loop 1, we have here 12 volts minus I1 times negative J4 plus J5, and then so current will leave this dummy voltage source on the positive polarity, so we'll have this one as plus, then J3 times I2, and then let us equate is to 0. So simplifying, we have 12 minus I1 times J plus J3 I2 equal to 0. So this will be I1 times J1 minus J3 I2 equal to 12. And this will be our first equation. On the loop 2, so we have I2 leaving this dummy voltage source on the positive polarity. So that will be positive. J3 times I1 minus J6 current I2 minus 12, the resistor here, also current I2, and equal to 0. So this will be J3 I1 equal to, so let us just transpose every this terms on the other side. So this will be I2 times J6 plus 12. So simplifying, I1 is equal to I2 times 2 minus J4. So I just divided both sides by J3. That's why I get this I2 times 2 minus J4. And this is our second equation. So let us substitute the second equation on our first equation. So we have I2 times 2 minus J4 minus J3 I2 equal to 12. So I2 is equal to 12 divided by all the terms here. So that would be 2 minus J4. Oh, I forgot to write the J1 here. This one. So 2 minus J4 minus times J1, I mean, minus J3. Okay. And then I2 will be equal to 2.91 angle 14.04 degrees ampere. So we now have the I2. We can now solve for the I1 using the second equation. So I1 is equal to 2.91 angle of 14.04 times 2 minus J4. So I1 is equal to 13.01 angle of negative 49.39 degrees ampere. So that's for our first example. Now let's try this another example. Solve for VO. Okay, so I1 is entering this dotted terminal. So entering, so meaning positive on this part and then negative. And then I2 is also entering this dotted terminal. So this dotted terminal, the first coil is above, so let us put the positive above. And then let us write the mutual voltage J1. And then this one is I2. I2 times J1. And then this one is J1 times I1. Now let's use the space on the next page. And then I write the, or redraw, I mean, the mutual voltage that we got. So this is J1 I2. This is J1 I1. And then the polarity, this one is positive, this is negative. And then this one is positive, this one is negative. Okay, so loop number 1, we have 100 angle 45 minus I1 times 4 plus J8 minus J1 I2 equal to 0. Or that would be 100 angle of 45 equal to I1 times 4 plus J8 plus j1 times I2. This is our first equation. Next, we have, so I2 will leave this negative j1 I1 minus I2 flowing through j5 and 10. So j5 plus 10 equal to 0. So I1 is equal to j5 plus 10 divided by negative j1, or that is equal to 10j minus 5. I'll just interchange times I2. And this is our second equation. So let's just substitute this value of I1 on our first equation. So we'll have 100 angle of 45 equal to 10j minus 5 times I2 times 4 plus j8 plus j1 times I2. So I2 is equal to 100 angle of 45 all over 10j minus 5 times this one, 4 plus j8 plus j1. So our answer would be 1 angle of negative 134.43 degrees ampere. So what we are actually looking for is the value of VO. So VO is here. Therefore, VO is equal to I2 times 10 ohms. Now, we already have the value of I2, so let's just substitute it here in the Ohm's law. So that is 1 angle of negative 134.43 times 10 ohms. So that would be VO is equal to 10 angle of negative 134.43 degrees volts. Next, sample problem. Calculate the mesh current in the circuit. Now we have here another type of circuit. So you can see this is our mutual voltage, the J2. And then we're dealing with the mesh current here. So J6 here, as you can see, I1 and I2 will flow on this inductor. So we have to consider also that thing. But we will still stick on the dot convention concept. So I1 is entering on this node. I1 is entering, so positive on the right side and the negative on this side. Our mutual voltage is J2. And as you can see, the current that will flow on this inductor is I1 and I2. So this will be I1 minus I2. Now considering the loop I2, so I2 will enter and then leave on the dotted terminal. So leaving means negative. So on the first coil, our dot is on the upper side. So the polarity here is negative, and then this one is positive. So this is J2, and then the only current that is flowing on this coil is I2. So this is J2 times I2. Okay? Now let us use the other sheet again. So this will be J2 I2, and this one is negative, this is positive, and then this one is the J2 times I1 minus I2, and then the polarity is positive here and the negative here. Okay, now let's have the equation number 1. Equation number 1, let's have the 100 angle 0, or just put 100, that's just the same, times minus I1 times 4 minus J3 minus J6 I1 minus I2 plus, so this one is plus, J2 I2 equal to 0. So this will be 100 minus I1 times 4 minus J3 minus I1 times J6 plus I2 times J6 plus I2 times J2 equal to 0. And then, let's just simplify. This will be 100 equal to I1 times 4 plus J3 minus I2 times J8. This is our first equation. And then, let's consider the second loop. Second loop here, we have negative J2, I2 minus J6 times I2 minus I1 minus this one I2 times J8, and then so leaving on the positive polarity we have plus J2 times I1 minus I2 minus 5I2 equal to 0. So let's just distribute negative J2 I2 minus I2 times J6 plus J6 times I1 minus I2 times J8 plus J2 times I1 minus J2 I2 minus 5I2 equal to 0. So I1 times J8 plus I2 times negative J18 minus 5 equal to 0, or I1 is equal to I2 times J18 plus 5, since this will be positive if we transpose, and then all over J8. Yeah, this is our second equation. Then let's just substitute this expression on the first um, equation that we got. So this will be 100 equal to I2 times J18 plus 5 divided by J8 times 4 plus J3 minus I2 times J8, and then let us get the value of I2. So I2 equal to 100 divided by J18 plus 5 times 4 plus J3 all over J8 minus J8. Okay, so our I2 would be equal to 8.69 angle of 19.03. Yeah. And then for the I1, so let's just go back to the equation number 2. So I1 will be 8.69 angle 19.03 times J18 plus 5 all over J8. So I1 is equal to 20.3 angle of 3.5 degrees ampere. Okay. Another example, so try to calculate the mesh current in this circuit. So it's the same, almost the same as the last example. Okay, so I1 enters this dotted terminal here. So our reference voltage here will be positive on this part, then negative on this part. And this will be equal to J3 I1. And then the reference polarity here. So I2 also enters the dotted terminal. So on the left side, we have the positive, and then this one is negative. And then this will be J3 times, since we consider the loop I2, this will be I2 minus I1. Okay, so let's have the equation number 1. That is 20 angle of 60 minus I1 times 5 plus J2 minus J3 times I2 minus I1, this one, so it leaves the negative, minus J6 times I1 minus I2, plus J3 I1 equal to 0. So this will be 20 angle 60 minus I1 times 5 plus J2 minus I2 times J3 plus I1 times J3 minus I1 times J6 plus I2 times J6 plus I1 times J3 equal to 0. So simplify, we have 20 angle 60 minus I1 times 5 plus J2 plus J3 minus J6 and plus J3. And then for I2, we have I2 times J3. This will be negative J6 equal to 0. So 20 angle 60 minus I1 times, this will be 5 plus J2. And then I2, this will be negative J3. Negative J3 equal to 0. Or 20 angle 60 equal to I1 times 5 plus J2 minus I2 times J3. So this will be our first equation. And then on the second equation, we have negative J3 I1. So from this reference voltage, minus J6 times I2 minus I1 minus I2 times negative J4, this capacitor here, then equal to 0. So you have negative J3 I1 minus J6 I2 plus J6 I1 plus I2 times J4 equal to 0. So simplify, we have negative J3 plus J6 is J3 I1 equal to negative J6 plus J4 is negative J2. Transpose, we have positive J2 I2. Therefore, I1 is equal to 2/3 I2. This is our second equation. So now let's just substitute this equation on the equation 1. So we have 20 angle 60 equal to 2/3 I2 times 5 plus J2 minus I2 times J3. Therefore, I2 is equal to 20 angle 60 all over 2/3 times 5 plus J2 minus J3. Therefore, I2 is equal to 5.37 angle 86.57 degrees ampere. And then for I1, so that is 2/3 times 86. This is, yan, 2/3 times 5.37 angle of 86.57 degrees. This will be equal to 3.58 angle of 86.57 degrees ampere. Ayan. So that is our I1 and I2. Next, let us discuss about the energy in a coupled circuit. So the energy stored in an inductor is given by W is equal to 1/2 Li squared. For magnetically coupled circuit, we have W is equal to 1/2 L1 I1 squared plus 1/2 L2 I2 squared plus M, which is our mutual inductance, times the I1 and I2. So this equation was derived based on the assumption that the coil currents both enter the dotted terminals. If one current enters one dotted terminal while the other current leaves the other dotted terminal, the mutual voltage is negative. So as you can see, all the signs here is positive. That is the assumption wherein both coil current enter the dotted terminals. So in the case wherein one current enters one dotted terminal while the other current leaves the other dotted terminal, so this mutual voltage here will be negative, and then the mutual energy is also negative. So in that case, W is equal to 1 half L1 I1 squared plus 1 half L2 I2 squared minus M I1 I2. Since I1 and I2 are arbitrary values, they may be replaced by I1 and I2, which gives instantaneous energy stored in the circuit. The general expression would be W is equal to 1 half L1 I1 squared plus 1 half L2 I2 plus or minus M I1 times I2. We also have here the coefficient of coupling. So it is the fraction of the total flux emanating from one coil that links the other coil. So this coupling coefficient, denoted by letter K, is actually a measure of the magnetic coupling between the two coils. So the range of this value is from 0 to 1. So this K, or this coupling coefficient, depends on the closeness of the two coils, their core, orientation, and their windings. So our formula, we have M, or the mutual inductance, equal to K times the square root of L1, L2. So if the entire flux produced by one coil links another coil, then K is equal to 1. And we have 100% coupling, or the coils are said to be perfectly coupled. For K is less than 0.5 coils, they are said to be loosely coupled, and for K greater than 0.5, they are said to be tightly coupled. So K is equal to phi 1, 2 over phi 1 is equal to phi 1, 2 over phi 1, 1 plus phi 1, 2. Or it can also be K is equal to phi 2, 1 over phi 2 equal to phi 2, 1 over phi 2, 1 plus phi 2, 2. Now let's have here a sample problem. Determine the coupling coefficient. Calculate the energy stored in the coupled inductors at time t is equal to 1 second if V is equal to 60 cosine of 40 plus 30 degrees volts. Okay, so first, we can solve for the value of K. So from the formula, M is equal to K square root of L1, L2. K is equal to M over square root of L1, L2. So substitute, our M here is 2.5 Henry, and then square root of our L1 is 5 Henry, and then our second coil is 4 Henry. So our coupling coefficient is equal to 2.5 square root of 20, or equal to 0.56. And this coupling coefficient is unitless. Now, we are looking for the energy stored in the coupled inductor. So let us solve for that on the next page. Okay, so before we proceed with the computation, let us first convert the inductance into reactances. So this will be J omega L. So going back to our equation a while ago, B is equal to 60 cosine 40 plus 30 degrees volts. So this will be J times 4 times 2.5, or that is equal to J10. And then this 4 Henry, so J times 4 times 4, we have J16, and then 5 Henry is J times 4 times 5, 20. And then this is 1 over J omega C, So J times 4 times 1 over 16. This is equal to negative J4. Okay, now let's go back to that convention. So we have here the I1 and the I2 here. So current is entering this dotted terminal. So this will be positive here and then negative here. And then in the L2, so L2, I2, enters also the dotted terminal. So on the upper side, we have the positive, and then this one is the negative. So this will be J10 times I1, and then this one is J10 times I2. Okay, so first equation, or first loop, that would be our angle, or our voltage, that is 60, angle of 30 degrees, minus 10 I1 minus J20 times I1 minus J10 I2 equal to 0. So this will be 60, angle 30 equal to I1 times 10 plus J20 plus J10 I2. First equation. On the second equation, we have negative, this one, negative J10 I1 minus J16 I2 minus negative J4 times I2 equal to 0. So this will be negative J10 I1, negative J16 plus J4 is negative J12, and then transpose will have positive J12 I2. Or I1 is equal to negative 1.2 I2. And this is our second equation. And then let's just substitute in the first equation. So this will be 60 angle 30 equal to negative 1.2 I2 times 10 plus J20 plus J10 I2. So I2 would be equal to 60 angle 30 divided by negative 1.2 times 10 plus J20 plus J10. So this will be equal to 3.25 angle of 160.6 degrees ampere. Solving for I1. So from second equation, so I1 is equal to negative 1.2 times 3.25 angle 160.6. So I1 is equal to 3.905 angle negative 19.4 degrees ampere. Okay, so we have a given time. Time is actually equal to 1 second. And so this one, we have to convert the omega given. This one is our omega. So this is equal to 4 radians (180 over pi). So let's just convert this into degrees. That is equal to 229.2 degrees. So from I2, if we will put this in equation, this is equal to 3.25 cosine of 229.2 degrees plus our angle is 160.6. So we just converted this one, 40. So 4 times 1 is 4. Then 4 regions times 180 over pi to make it degrees. So 229.2 degrees. And then this will be equal to 2.824 ampere. And then for the I1, that is equal to 3.905 cosine of same angle, 229.2 minus 19.4 degrees. So I1 will be equal to negative 3.39 ampere. So, solving for the energy, so that is equal to 1 half L1 I1 squared plus 1 half L2 I2 squared. So, let's go back here. So, I1 enters and then I2 also enters. Therefore, the sign of our mutual inductance is positive, ML1, L2. So, let's just substitute. 1 half, our L1 is 5. I1 is negative 3.39. Then squared plus 1 half times L2 natin is 4 times I2. I2 is 2.824 and then squared plus our M is 2.5 times 5. This one is I1, I2. Sorry. This is I1, I2. So 2.5 times negative 3.39. This is 3. Let's just delete. Yan, 2.5 times negative 3.39 times 2.824. Okay. So, our energy is now equal to 20.73 and unit of energy is joules. And don't forget the unit of energy. Okay. Next. Another sample problem. To determine the coupling coefficient, calculate the energy stored in the coupled inductors at time t is equal to 1.5 second. So, let us first compute for the coupling coefficient. K is equal to M over square root of L1, L2. So, M is equal to 1 Henry over L1 is 2 Henry times 1 Henry. Therefore, this is equal to 0.707. Let's solve the energy here. So, let us first convert 1 Henry J omega L. Our omega here is 2. So, J omega L, J times 2. This is J2. J omega L, also here, this is J2. And then this one is J4. So, 2 times 2, J4. Okay, so this is I1. This is I2. So, I1 is leaving the dotted terminal. So, this one will be negative and this one is positive. On this side, I2 is entering the dotted terminal. So, this one is positive, this one is negative. And this one is equal to J2, I2. And this one is J2, I1. Okay. So, first equation, we have 40. We have no angle, so 40 minus I1. I forgot. This one, 1/8, 1 over j omega c, 1 over j times 2 times 1/8. That would be 1 over 1/4. Then, this will be negative j4. So, I1 times 4 minus j4 minus I1 times j4 plus j2 I2 equal to 0. Or equal to 40 equal to I1 times 4. this will be plus and then minus J4. So we'll be left with I1 times 4. And then minus J2, I2. So this is positive. When transposed, it will be negative. So this one is our first equation. On the second equation, we have positive J2I1 minus I2 times J2 plus 2 equal to 0. So I1 is equal to I2 times J2 plus 2 over J2. Or I1 is equal to I2 times 1 minus J. It's our second equation. So let's just substitute this second equation of first equation. So we'll have 40 is equal to I2 times 1 minus J times 4 minus J2 times I2. So I2 is equal to 40 all over 4 times 1 minus J minus J2. And this is equal to 5.55 angle of 56.31 degrees ampere. And then for the value of I1, okay, we'll have 5.55 angle 56.31 times 1 minus J. So this will be equal to 7.84 angle 11.31 degrees ampere. So at T is equal to 1.5 second, and given our omega is 2T, so this will be 3. Then convert to degrees, 180 over pi, this will be 171.89 degrees. So I1 would be equal to 7.84 cosine of 171.89 angle 11.31. This will be equal to 7.03 ampere. Then for I2, we have 5.55, this one, cosine same angle 171.89 plus 56.31. And this is equal to negative 3.69. So, solving for W, that is 1/2 L1 I1 squared plus 1/2 L2 I2 squared minus, since I1 is leaving and then I2 is entering. So, minus M times I1 I2. So, this will be 1/2 times our L1 is 2, I1 is negative 7.03 squared plus 1/2, L2 is 1 times I2 is negative 3.69 squared minus M is 1 and then I1 is negative 7.03 times negative 3.69. So, value for W. So, we have 30.28. Let's just do 9. This unit is joules. Yan. Now let's proceed with the linear transformers. So a transformer is generally a four-terminal device comprising two or more magnetically coupled coils. So the coil that is directly connected to the voltage source is called the primary winding, and then the coil connected to the load is called the secondary winding. So we have here the primary coil, and then this one is the secondary coil, which is connected to our load. So here is an example of the different types of transformers. This letter is the copper wound dry power transformer, while this one example of audio transformer. So they are very small size. We have here some formula for the reflected impedance, that is AR is equal to omega squared m squared over R2 plus J omega L2 plus ZL. So this one's the reflected impedance. And this one is what we call the primary impedance, that's R1 plus J omega L1. So determining the equivalent circuit of a linear transformer. So from this circuit, we'll have here this equivalent linear transformer circuit. So it's like an equivalent T circuit. And for our formula, we have LA is equal to L1 minus M, LB is equal to L2 minus M, and then the LC, this part, that is equal to M. So determining the equivalent circuit of a linear transformer, if we will have an equivalent pi circuit, so this is how it looks like, and these are the formulas. Okay, so now we will be asked to calculate the input impedance and current I1 on this circuit given Z1 is equal to 60 minus J100, Z2 is equal to 30 plus J40, and ZL is equal to 80 plus J60. Okay, so we have the formula a while ago for the input impedance. So the input impedance, let's just rewrite it here. We have R1 plus J omega L1 plus the reflected impedance, that's equal to omega 2 M2 M squared, that's R2 plus J omega L2 plus ZL. So let's take a look on this part first. So our Z1 is 60 minus J100, then we also have here the J20, and then plus our omega squared m squared, or the mutual inductance, that is J5, squared all over our R2. So on this part, the secondary coil, so we have J40 plus 30 plus J40 plus the ZL, which is 80 plus J60. So our Z-in is equal to 60.09 minus J 80.11 ohms. So for the current, we'll just have Ohm's law for the current, so that is 50 angle 60 divided by the Z-in. So our current is equal to 0.5 angle of 113.13 degrees ampere. We have ideal transformers. So ideal transformer is a unity-coupled, lossless transformer in which the primary and secondary coils have infinite self-inductances. Transformer is said to be ideal if it has the following properties. So first one, coils have very large reactances. So L1, L2, and M is approaching infinity. And then the coupling coefficient is equal to unity, or K is equal to 1. Then primary and secondary coils are lossless, or the R1, R2 equal to 0. So for the turns ratio or transformation ratio, we have this relationship B2 over B1 equal to N2 over N1 equal to N. So when N is equal to 1, we generally call the transformer an isolation transformer. So this one. That means N1 is equal to N2. So if we have a step-up transformer, as the voltage is increased from primary to secondary, that means V2 is greater than V1. On the other hand, if N is less than 1, the transformer is a step-down transformer since the voltage is decreased from primary to secondary. So I2 over I1 is equal to N1 over N2 equal to 1 over N. Then we have your step-down transformer. Okay, I will repeat. So step-down transformer is one whose secondary voltage is less than its primary voltage. And then the step-up transformer is one whose secondary voltage is greater than its primary voltage. So you just only need to remember, if it's step-down, so secondary less than primary. So the voltage decrease. If it is step-up, the secondary voltage is greater than the primary voltage. So the voltage increased from primary to secondary. Now we also have these following formulas. Also for power. So power delivered to an ideal transformer by the source is transferred to the load. So we also have an auto transformer, a transformer in which both the primary and the secondary are in a single winding. For the step-down auto transformer, we have this formula. For the step-up auto transformer, so it looks the same, but the numerator and denominator is interchanged. And then we also have the three-phase transformer. So to meet the demand for three-phase power transmission, transformer connections compatible with three-phase operations are needed. We can achieve the transformer connections in two ways. First, by connecting three single-phase transformers, thereby forming a so-called transformer bank, or by using a special three-phase transformer. So applications of transformers. So first one, to step up or step down voltage and current, making them useful for power transmission and distribution. Second is to isolate one portion of a circuit from another and to transfer power without any electrical connection. And then as an impedance matching device for maximum power transfer. In frequency selective circuits whose operation depends on the responsive inductances, transformers are also used. So, three important applications. We have transformer as an isolation device, transformer as a matching device, and as power distribution system. And that's the end of our topic for today. So, I hope you have learned a lot from this topic, and feel free to message me if you have any questions. Thank you.